What up? What up? What up? What up? What's happening? What's going on this WNBA playoff Thursday afternoon during the Thursday evening? We're gonna have a little WNBA conversation, leading into, game three with the Fever and the Dream. And we're gonna talk a little bit more defense. We're gonna talk a little bit more offense. Talk a little Jeff Albrecht and Michael Penix as well. Um, Hope everybody's doing all right, doing okay. Uh, and anybody that's listening that you might be, anywhere getting off and trying to get home, do not get on 285 South. Don't. You'll be sitting till tomorrow. There's an accident, overturned car, you have multiple injuries. It's stopped and it's stuck. So don't get on 285. If you up on near the west side, you're probably still sitting. It's probably backed up that far at this particular junction. Don't get on it because you're gonna be sitting until they get it cleared out and look like they're kind of far away from getting it cleared out. They're still trying to get the injured out the way. Um, just giving you that little tidbit. And if you're listening to this, pass that information along, you know what I'm saying? So you won't be stuck. Um, but moving on to today, today, start off with a little Penix growth conversation. Just a little bit, because I just, was thinking on yesterday, about, the games he played, the 3 games he played on last year. I went back and pulled up a little tape, and was comparing it to the 2 games that, saying we done seen so far this year. And there has been some growth. There's been some growth. Um, you know, he's I think there was no lie in my first perception of his poise in the pocket. And, y'all, you've been watching. Y'all heard me say, talked about a couple weeks ago. We're wanting to see how he would, uh, handle being in a tense situation. And being, being pressurized. Well, we saw that on we saw that on Saturday night. That Minnesota defense put some pressure on him. They got to him 3 times, and the way he responded, he wasn't rattled. He didn't show that. He handled the noise very well. Um, he showed his competitive and leadership spirit when he got to the sideline. He was in the coach's ass. He jumped on that phone upstairs to the booth. Y'all, to get me these damn plays faster than you getting them to me. I need them. You know, um, what I'm saying? When he needed to be calm, you know what I'm saying? It mattered. He had command of the huddle, he had command of the game. Um, you know, and he was very matter of factly, like, what I'm saying, when the game was over with, when speaking about the offensive output and how what was working, what I'm saying, it made sense to stick with. When Bijan and Tyler were dealing, they made the offense roll. So we went with that. We rolled with that. But we're far from having played our best game. And we're getting and working on that. Um, I'm loving his maturation, his progress, progression in the process. This And when you look at his total body of work in the 5 games that he has played, um, there's an upside that comes out of every game with him. You know, there's a positive optimism that comes out of every game when watching him and watching him. You know, even the the game against Tampa. You know, and the way he was dealing right there, he ran when he needed to run. You know, uh, he settled the guys when they needed to be settled. You know, and he was making it go. Hey, Sonya, what's happening, Frank? You know, is I just I just believe that the future is needing shades. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just it's just that bright. His future is just that bright, which makes our future bright. You know, and I think as so goes the season, you know, he's only going to get better and better. You know, because he does so many things. Matter of factly, you know what I'm saying? He got ice water in his veins. It's the way he plays. He's never nervous. You know, he's never rattled. You know what I'm saying? That's the epitome of poise. And yeah, and that's true, Frank. That's true. I mean, he only has now to this point 5 games up under his belt, but I mean, you out of each game he has played, you come out with a silver lining, a positive lining, a positive perspective. You know what I'm saying? After watching him play, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm just his growth is interesting to watch at this point. You know, and coming into this game, you know what I'm saying, coming up against Carolina, I just think that you know, he's on the right path. He's beating the right path. You know, and he's growing. He's gone through enough. Just like he said after the game on Sunday night, the injuries that he's been through, and what he's had to sit through, what he's had to rehab through, what he's had to grow through. You know, I mean, because the interesting thing is that people forget the Indiana situation. You know, people forget when he tore up his knee, the school lost faith. Indiana gave up on him. That's why he transferred. That's why he transferred. Because India done gave up on him. They wasn't really trying to put him back in play when he came back off his knee, off that knee injury. You know, and that's a lot to deal with. You know what I'm saying? When you're trying to, you know what I'm saying, get it together and get your footing back, and you know what I'm saying, and you know, and make it in this game. He got to Washington and made it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? You know, to leave that situation and then to go play for a national championship. You know, hey, you know what I'm saying, and to be in, you know what I'm saying, the situation as the starting quarterback of the Falcons right now, and given the situation, you know, for him and Zach Robinson to grow together, you know, is a interesting prospect. Uh, Frank said he's not putting it all on. Yeah, yeah. He's walking his path in his position. You know, as a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Um, and he's built for it. He has the tools. I mean, I haven't seen a a a release on a throw that he has. Um, you know, it's Marino, Ryan. Dan Fouts, uh, Jim Plunkett like type release, quick and surgical. He has the tools. He goes through his progressions like a 10-year vet. You know, he stands strong in the pocket. He never gets the happy feet. And when he has to move, he'll sidestep. He'll glide on over where he needs to glide over in the pocket. If he has to get out the pocket, he gets out there. While he's looking downfield, looking where to put the ball. You know, you know what I'm saying? What I like about Penix is that he's very quick to go through his reads. But that's what I was talking about. You know, he goes through. When a player designed to do a thing, all right, if that thing is not there, he's looking. He know where everybody's supposed to be, and then he puts the ball where he wanted to be at, quick. You know, unless you got just that kind of that good of a jump, you know what I'm saying, off the snap, you're relatively not gonna get to him. I mean, even though Minnesota got to him 3 times, they sacked him 3 times. Then they got like 5 or 6 hits on him. But coming from that, the way he responded to that was, I mean, he was on to the next play. You know, boom, 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 boom. Like I said, I just feel like the future is bright. It's sunburn bright. You know, what I'm saying. And like I said, with him and Zach to be able to grow together, you know, uh, with that, I think it's going to be a fun ride. You know, me personally, I think it's going to be a fun ride. Now on the other side of the ball, um, we're at the halfway point of the first quarter of the season, and I honestly I don't. I had my perspective of week one for the defense, what I'm saying, not getting home on the sacks and dropping the picks, you know what I'm saying, and the defense picked that up in week two. Um, you know what I mean? They picked it up well. Um, I like what I'm seeing from the defense. I like the effective aggression. It was notably it has been the phrase that has been coined by our very own saying Mr. Tactician, brick theory, brick theory defense. I'm loving it. In anticipation, what I'm saying, for Sunday's game, in Carolina, looking to see, what I'm saying, the defense to lead the team again. Um, you know, just with more ruthless aggression, physicality. I think, if I'm not mistaken, AJ. I think AJ is already ruled out for the game with the hamstring. Uh, I think we're gonna go with Bowman at the CB1. Possibly, maybe, if not. I know that the talk is pulling CJ Henderson up. But I also been hearing talk of Bowman being over there. Um, he's physical 1-on-1, and he's his read and react, you know what I'm saying, skills are very strong. Uh, Frank says, I don't believe the 98 Falcons defense was a top five at any point in the season. No. We were top 15. Um, because most times out of not, with that team, that offense, we was winning time of possession because, what I'm saying, uh Jamal Anderson was running the ball. I think that season Jamal may have ran the ball 400 times in that season. I think I might be wrong. If he didn't, he was close to it. But most times out of not in the games that we played in that 98 season, we was winning, what I'm saying, the time of possession battle. Um, and the defense, was good at getting off the field on third down. Um, and we had great special teams as well, punt and punt return. So you had a couple of things working for that team in all three phases that contribute to, what I'm saying, that defense being as good as it was. You know, um, I'm not gonna sit here and try to shuck and jive about that defense. Um, my guy, my idol, uh, my all time great idol is Jesse Tuggle that led that defense. They did the damn thing that season. We just came up against, what I'm saying, one of the greater quarterbacks to ever do it at the position in John Elway. Um, you know, a lot of people like to, what I'm saying, blame Eugene Robinson, but no, what happened with Eugene, what I'm saying, the night before, it really had nothing to do with that damn game at all. It's just keeping it a book. Um, Denver ran the ball well, um, and John Elway converted a couple of third downs late, and they did get away with a pass interference. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it is what it is. Shout out to the Hall of Famer walking out on the back to back. You know, um, but that defense was formidable. Um, you know, I mean, yeah, we're high ranked at this particular point. I think it will level out to somewhere, you know, 6, 7, or 8, somewhere like that. But I mean, we'll see. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Could we maintain a top five precedent? You know what I'm saying? With this defense, it can be. It can happen. You know what I'm saying? It's a possibility. You know, would I love it? Yeah, but I just think it's gonna level out. I mean, because we got a couple of nasty offenses that we're gonna see in this season. Oh shit, excuse me. It's been a long day, people. It's been a long day. Well, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to keep it together. A little tired, a little bit. Wanted to, get at you all on this thing. Um, Jeff Albrecht is, his vision um, for this defense. Hey, looking at these first 2 weeks, um, we're gonna get at you at the point of attack. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we have everything in place. The defense, I think, and like I said about Divine Diablo on this day, I mean, that guy. That guy, he's some kind of special at the middle linebacker. Uh, and he's the glue guy, if you will. Frank says, I can see us being top 10 defense at the end of the year. Yeah, I can too. I can too. Like I said, I think it's gonna level itself out because, like I said, we got a few nasty offenses on our schedule. Um, you know, so I mean, I'm gonna be paying attention to the rankings, especially when it gets down around week 8. You know, by the halfway point, I'm gonna be, what I'm saying, looking at to see where I mean, because if we're putting up 6 sacks numbers, you know what I'm saying, and 3-4 turnovers a game, you know what I'm saying, each week, it stands to reason that we're we're gonna uphold what the numbers say after 2 weeks. I mean, it's if we're week 8 and we done held everybody, you know, held everybody scoreless in second halves of games, you know what I'm saying, like that, and winning the time of possession by 25 to 30 minutes per game, and causing, what I'm saying, 2, 3, 4 turnovers a game, and getting to the quarterback 5, 6 times. Yeah, yeah, I think, yeah, we got dudes at all 3 levels on defense. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I think the leadership in that locker room on defense goes like this: Jesse Bates, Divine Diablo, and Leonard Floyd. That's you have playoff veteran and Super Bowl experience, championship experience, Super Bowl experience, playoff experience. Um, and that works to your favor when you're as young of a team as we are on defense. You know, so I think, what I'm saying, brick theory is a strong theory in itself. Uh, you know, and I'm right now I'm very impressed with Jeff Albrecht, you know, and how he's coming along, the way he's leading these guys, in the vision that he has for this defense, the way it's shaping up. I'm very impressed, what I'm saying, with his activity on the sideline, and what I'm saying, when the guys come up the field, and he gets them in there, and he 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 has something to point out, something to teach, something to adjust to, what I'm saying, each time they come up the field, you know, and the way he's calling games. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, sir. Well, my OG cohort was supposed to be in here with me to help me with this pregame for the dream. Uh, but he's not responding. He's either asleep, or he's tied up, or he's forgotten. Um, but yeah, today it's game 3, Dream Fever. Um, win or go home. You know what I'm saying? Um, like I said on yesterday, we got to recreate. We got to, bring the same thing we brought in game 1. Um, okay. Terry hit the jackpot with his defensive draft picks. Yes, yes. I spoke on that on last week, and I meant what I said. All the haters, all the crybaby haters, has been trying to call for this man head, wanting him fired for this, that, and the third. Yeah, bow down and kiss the ring. Kiss the ring. Kiss the ring. catch the rain. Because Terry Fontenot is looking like the smartest man in the room right now. You know, you know what I'm saying? Just for a second, on that right there. You know, because he hit on some. He's hit. You know what I'm saying? The cumulative talent that we have right now, and y'all want to sit around and knick knack and cry and bitch and moan and call for this man's job. Okay, Terry Fontenot name ring bells around this league in the GM community and the scouting community, and that's just the real of it. And for that game to go the way it went on Sunday night, you know, all four rookies, impact was impactful. You know what I'm saying? And some other guys as well. But, you know, just speaking on, you know, this most recent this year's draft class, you know, they showed up, showed out, you know what I'm saying, and made an impact. It was it was very, 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 very quiet. It's been very quiet on the Terry front, no hater front. It's been very quiet. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm gonna say it, yeah. Bow down and kiss the ring of Terry front, no. It's been very, very quiet on the Terry front, no hater front since Sunday night. You know what I'm saying? I seen a few of them change their tunes and you know and, and choking on humble pie. You know, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of y'all beef with that man wasn't even legit, man. Y'all trying to hang coaching issues on this man's head. He's the whole GM and lead scout. He ain't no coach. He ain't designing plays. He ain't calling plays. He's in charge of the monies. He's in charge of finding the talent, getting the talent in him. That's that. You know what I'm saying? That is the de facto reality. I mean, I'm just saying. Imagine what it would be like had you know what it would even more be like, you know, had Braylon had that setback. Mm, yeah, yeah. Sonny said Terry has brought us a defense. Thomas Dimitrov didn't. That part right there. That whole part right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you had some of these idiots who out here are talking about Dimitrov 20 times the GM Terry Front. No, you know, bunch of them up in your head, man. Y'all smoking crack, sniffing glue, and drinking motor oil. Ted Fontenot came in and undid a whole problem that Thomas Dimitrov created. He was the one that had us almost 100 mil in the red in salary cap hell. And Terry coming here in 2 seasons, fix that shit. You know what I'm saying? He coming there in 2 seasons and fix that. All and after it really it got us into the black and not the red, and has done nothing but fine tune this squad and get the talent in here. The de facto needed talent, defensive talent. The defensive talent. Now, you know, The only thing that he hasn't done and hasn't been able to do is pick his own coach. That's an interesting conversation to have. Now, you know, uh, will there be a need for that conversation? I guess we have to wait and see. I guess we have to wait and see. You know, I mean, yeah, Mr. Knight, and how you doing? Yeah, thank goodness we have Terry. Yes, yes, yes. He's given us a lot of low risk, high reward situation in talent. Um, he's he's done well with the picks, very well with the picks. Um, he's done he's done well in the undrafted free agent pool, very well. He struck some gold there, you know. Um, he, he structured our cabinet, most notably long as practice squad. You know what I'm saying, with the exclusive ready to go needs in some aspects. You know, and again, he's situated. He has balanced the checkbook there, buddy. He has balanced the checkbook. And some of you idiots, before you even said, miss me with that Kirk Cousins mess. Because Kirk Cousins was Homer Simpson's call. Michael Penix was Terry's call. Let's get it right now. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. That's right, Mr. Knight. We have a defense because of Terry. You know, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. And surely do. Surely do. You know what I'm saying? And then again now, again, let's take reference because you know there were a bunch of them that were out there, interviewing, you know, um, talking crap and calling for his head, you know, making that deal, trading away the 2026 first round pick to move up to get James Pierce Jr. You still mad? You still mad about that? Hmm? You still mad about that? You know what I'm saying? And I did, you know, tooting the horn for Mike Green. Well, uh, look at where Mike Green is and what he's doing, and you look over here and look at what JPJ is doing. Huh? I wait. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I take my guy over that guy over there in Baltimore anytime. I take James Spence Jr. over Mike Green all day, every day. I ain't hating. I'm just you know what I'm saying with what I'm looking at with what I've seen. You know what I'm saying from training camp, from mini camp to training camp to preseason. You know what I'm saying. You know, in these first couple of weeks, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you, Ted Fontenot. And did. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, that's sorry. Now just imagine had Terry gotten his way and we gotten Bill Belichick in him. Yeah, Bill Belichick and Terry Fontenot. Both of them are supreme at picking talent. You know what I'm saying? and finding talent. Just imagine had that come off, had that man. Okay, all right, all right. What up, D? He says, "Who is your offensive player and defensive player to watch for the upcoming matchup against the Panthers?" Defensively, I honestly I'd have to go. I'm hating I'm even gonna say this, but I'd hate I'm gonna have to go in a fantasy football mind, and I'm just gonna pick the defense on this one, because I mean, coming off what we just did to Minnesota, I really just can't pick one person. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You got the youngins, you know, Walker, Pierce, Brandon Doyles, Ominyata up front, Evan Ketty, you know what I'm saying? Divine Diablo, you got the back end, with X and Bowman, Hughes, you know what I'm saying? Um, shit, we're probably gonna get a good dose of Hitman in this game. Um, but offensively in this game, I because Bijan is gonna be Bijan, all right. You know what I'm saying? Him and Tyler, they gonna that's just what they gonna do what they normally do. Um, I think Kyle Pitts is gonna be pretty explosive in this game. I mean, because you're still you're just letting Mooney get his feet wet. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, everybody's all on Drake's head. Back up, man. That man playing hurt. That man playing hurt. There's a stinger or a sprain on that shoulder. You know what I'm saying? He ain't 100%. He not. So he's going to be a little stagnant a little bit, but there was a need for him to be out there. Okay, so I mean, Drake's going to be Drake, but it's going to be a little slower than normal, until he get 100%. But I think Kyle Pitts is going to be the guy in this game, um, offensively. Yeah, I'm gonna lay the money at Kyle Pitts' feet, offensively. Frank said this defense seems to not have any glaring weaknesses at all. Well, I'm not gonna say that they're totally complete, because when you go and you look inside the film, there are some things, as well as Bowman played, um, he made some fundamental mistakes in that game against Minnesota that the front end kind of covered up because they got the JJ before he could get the ball off. But that's just it'll be. I know they get him in. Bates and them get him in the film room and show him some stuff. And they can clean that up. Um, you know, uh, and Walker has got to. It's okay to be aggressive, but you can't be so aggressive that you know what I'm saying, you work yourself out of a play, and not able to keep contained. He still has to work on that. He still has to work on that. You know what I'm saying? But And then that's not really calling those weeks. It's just things that need to be cleaned up and to be capitalized on. You know what I'm saying? Like we spoke about last week. On being aggressive but disciplined at the same time. You know, with that right there. Um, you know what I'm saying? I mean, but hey, it, like I said, the to to watch uh the brick theory, metamorph into something, great of what his vision is. I'm just sit back and enjoy the ride because like I was telling Frank, a little while before you came in, um, there for what the numbers say early in the year. And like I said, I myself, I think that it's gonna level out. We'll be, you know, 6, 7, 8. Because we got some pretty nasty offenses that we're gonna come up against in the process of this season. So now, if we are able to, I'll be the first to stand up and say, "Hey, I was wrong." If we handle those offenses, I mean, because if we could consistently go in and come out of games and you know, and have consistently have games like we had against Minnesota defensively, there's no doubt that we can sustain this. Top 5 level of what the numbers are showing. You know, um, I'm by no means am I doubting. I'm just looking at my mind's a little different when it comes to respecting the opponents. Because a lot of people in this fan base, seem to not acknowledge, the opposing defense or the opposing offense. You know what I'm saying? I pays a lot of attention. You know, people keep you know, stomping their feet and being on their soapbox about that week 1 game. Well, you have to tip your cap to Tampa and they run defense in that game. It can't go ignored. Okay, you know what I'm saying? We sat there and saw us in that first half, and Zach called every kind of run imaginable. Tampa just was not having it against the run game. So what we do, put the ball in the air. Game flow dictates play calling. And the flow of that game and Tampa's run defense dictates we need to put that thing in the air a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to the tune of 42 attempts in the air. You know, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you a lot of people seem to ignore certain things, and then you want to say that there were obscure numbers or the play calling wasn't creative, it was predictable. Well, I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying? If the play calling didn't suit your fantasy football needs, you know, or it didn't suit your, what I'm saying, Madden excitability clause, that's a you problem. You'll be all right. You know, I'm just, when you watch the game and you watch the game within the game, you have a different mindset instead of having tunnel vision. You know, I mean, the biggest the biggest difference in Sunday night because both defenses were balling, Minnesota's and ours. The difference was Minnesota offense turned the ball over. Minnesota turned the ball over. Okay, that was the difference because both Minnesota defense was getting to it. They was getting to it. They bowled up on third down. I mean, if you really look at it, we only got in the red zone twice in that game. You go back and look at that game Sunday night. We only got the red zone twice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so you have to go back and you have to really look at it. All right, okay. They made it very starch. You know what I'm saying in the red zone. You know what I'm saying, especially in the passing game. You know they did. They made it very starch. But I mean, again, this is what I be talking about. We as a fan base got to open our eyes. And don't look at the game one sided. You know what I'm saying? You know, um, I'm going I'm going to shoot a flyer to my OG brethren for not being here to actually do the Dream Fever pregame activity. He has most of that information. I saw game one. Um, you know what I mean? I saw game one. I didn't see game two. I was a little busy, but I'm planning on watching this game tonight. Um, I get hold to them. We may do a post game on that just to make up, what I'm saying, for not really jumping inside, pregame activity like I intended on doing, but this conversation really, you know, we shifted gears. We called the audible. Frank says, I wonder if the Falcons are going to utilize their bare fronts a lot on defense. Well, what I'm seeing, the wide nine perspective, and they're coming up and they're showing one thing, but then they're shifting into another. And then, all right, he's done a great job in both games. Honestly, in week 1 and 2, he did a great job in shifting and changing and showing different sets, and showing different concepts defensively. Um, I mean, because when you really look at it, all right, outside of maybe 4 plays, Baker really did not have a good game against us. Baker threw the balls 38 times, only 16 completions. Okay, for 168 yards. Think about that now. Think about that. The difference between that game and this past game on Sunday night was we made those sacks and we made those picks and fumble recoveries. And then Minnesota only converted 6 of 11 third downs. Just saying. Just saying. And it was similar numbers for Tampa Bay as well. So I mean, come on. The outlying reasons, what I'm saying, for the differences in the game. We converted those sacks. We converted those, what I'm saying, picks and turnovers, as opposed to missing them in the first game, which led to a 3-point loss. But if we converted those sacks and turnovers in week 2, led to a 15, 16-point win. Just saying, but I think to your point of your question, Frank, eh, eh, he's utilizing a lot of disguises. You know what I'm saying? Um, so it's going to be interesting. I think it's probably gonna go to whatever, however the flow of the game is going, whatever Carolina comes out trying to do. But if you're going to be basing it off of what they've done, or excuse me, not done in the first 2 games, I think knowing Jeff Albrecht, he's just gonna come out and pin the guys' ears back and make them, get after, dictate it, disrupt the backfield. Just like I said, to begin with, disrupt the backfield, make it chaotic, keep Bryce Young uncomfortable, get some hits on him. If they get 10, 11, 12 hits on Bryce, and get to him 5, 6 times, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day. But hey, right now, we're in a pretty good position. Things are looking good going into week 3. And some unfortunate news for Carolina, especially on the offensive line. I think the center and their tackle or guard was put on IR. One was put on IR and the other one's ruled out for this game. So that, that you got that issue, because this Atlanta Falcon defense is coming in hot, so that'll be, one thing, the rank game is coming in hot. So, you got two vicious phases coming in. If you're looking at it from Carolina's perspective, like, because offensively, the Dirty Birds won the time of possession by 25 or 30 minutes. And if you're Carolina's defense, like, man, I don't have to be on fuck around being on the field that long like that. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. But hey, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Like I said, all things considering that I finally do, get OG Truth. We'll probably, try to give y'all a post game setup, when the game is over with, with whatever the outcome may be. Hopefully it'll be Atlanta moving on, to the semis. And I'll see you later on tonight, and look forward to Falcon Friday, more pregame, Carolina and Atlanta talk. Man, you got to keep it got to keep it dirty. Just know you got to keep it real with yourself, man. Let your next choice be your best choice. And one of them choices will persist of not getting on 285 South. Because it is messed up over there. But y'all be safe, man. OG out.